But thank you so much for this opportunity. I am a research associate at Stanford Research into the impact of tobacco advertising. And I'm here primarily to talk about Juul, but also to include other pod devices that we see in the market. Now, it's customary to start such talks with a disclosure, and I'd like to say that I have absolutely no relationship whatsoever with any tobacco company. In fact, it's quite the contrary. Tobacco companies completely dislike the work that we do in exposing their targeting and marketing practices. Now, for those of you who may not have had a chance to see our website, tobacco.stanford.edu, this is a screen capture of the homepage. We have more than 50,000 ads in our online database. I believe it is the largest online repository of tobacco ads. It spans the tobacco product continuum, and we have ads from the classic to the contemporary era. We are a well-utilized resource with more than 500,000 viewers to our website. So today's talk is going to mostly be on Juul. At Stanford, we have more than a passing interest in the product, not only because it is the leading electronic cigarette in the marketplace with more than 3/4 of market share, but also because it was created from our own background. The two co-founders are both alums of Stanford University. Just to put things in perspective, James Monsees and Adam Bowen, who are the co-founders of Juul, started first with Plume in 2010. This was a cigar-like device that had Nespresso-looking pods that fit into it. In 2012, they launched Pax, which is still available, and it's a loose-leaf vaporizer. And in 2015, they launched Juul. Juul's mission today is to improve the life of the world's 1 billion adult smokers by eliminating cigarettes. And if only Juul had started with this mission statement and marketed according to this mission statement, I think the discussion would be completely different. But what I'm here to show you is that when they started out, they actively targeted the youth population. Juul has achieved Decacon status, which means that it has more than 10 billion valuation, and it actually outpaced Facebook in doing so and achieved that valuation in little more than 6 months. So it was extremely fast to get to that status. To put things in perspective, why the tobacco control community is actually concerned about electronic cigarettes is the fact that according to recent studies that use of any tobacco product by both high school students and middle school students has increased. 2018 e-cigarette use data shows there are more than 3 million users of any tobacco product by high school students and more than 570,000 users in middle school. And what this has done is that it has erased decades of progress that we've made in the United States in preventing tobacco use among middle and high school students. And this is important because it is you hardly, like 95% of people who start smoking or using any tobacco product do it in middle and high school years. There are very few people who pick up the habit as an adult. It's not impossible, but it's much fewer in number. More concerning is the year-over-year increase, with an increase in 38% of tobacco use among high school students from 2017 to 2018. And this has led to the former FDA Commissioner Scott Gottlieb, as well as Surgeon General Jerome Adams, in calling youth vaping an epidemic. Now, at Streeter, we've spent considerable effort over the past year in analyzing Juul as well as other pod devices. We've written a number of papers, and these are available for you to view on our website. We've also written a magnum opus 50-page that examines Juul's early marketing, so its first 3 years in the market. We have over 1,800 Juul images on our website. These have been categorized. We have also images of Juul from Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and this is probably the only place that you can now access this comprehensive collection. And we have several Juul videos, as well as a comparison set that looks at how Juul took from other cigarette companies in designing their ads. Now, Juul was launched with the vaporized campaign. This was in late 2015 and early 2016. The early ads were extremely colorful. They featured 20-something models. They used vibrant colors. These were trendy-looking models. And they all, most importantly, seemed to be having a lot of fun while vaping that device. Juul also took from popular culture in the styling of their models, and I'm wondering if anyone here knows who this model, resembles in styling. Well, Ariana Grande, and in terms of her hairstyle and her posturing, she resembles a pop teen icon. Juul also launched with magazine ads, but not any traditional magazine. They launched with ads in Vice digital magazine, which claims to be the fastest growing youth media company in the world. For a company that is trying to target adults, they really went about it in a very, very unique way. They had huge billboards in New York Times Square that was extremely eye-catching. These were animated panels which shows people enthusiastically using the product. Over the first 6 months, Juul also had a number of events. These were in large metropolitan cities. Again, they used from the vaporized theme. They had pop-ups that, were extremely colorful. These were sometimes in cemeteries. They were sometimes outside cinema theaters. And they had free samples that were given out at these events initially. When they realized it was against FDA regulation, they decided to charge people for the samples, and the amount they decided to charge them was $1. So extremely inexpensive way to distribute samples. They also had a number of events that they hosted. Many of these were electronic music events. One such event is Nocturnal Wonderland, which is an electronic music festival. And what I'd like to bring to your attention here is the number of hashtags that Juul has used in order to create a buzz about its post. Now, from very early on, Juul used social media. It was really prevalent on Instagram as well as Facebook. And the reason that I bring this up is because we know it is mostly young adults and teens that live on social media, especially Instagram. Most adult smokers, which are the baby boomers and the Gen Xers, mostly get their information still from traditional media channels, including television, radio, and magazines. When we looked at hashtags, we found that Juul had Juul-specific hashtags that they created for their particular product. That's not surprising. These included hashtag Juul Vapor, hashtag Juul Pods, etc. But what they did was that they also used hashtags that were already prevalent and popular in the community. And by using those hashtags, what they did is they pushed their message out to larger audience that may otherwise have not seen the message. For example, Throwback Thursday, New York City, Mother's Day, and you can see the large number of posts to each of these hashtags. In 2018, after Juul had already become the #1 electronic cigarette in the marketplace, under regulatory pressure, what it did was it decided to purge youth-oriented content from its social media channels. Therefore, it removed all youth-oriented content from Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And later that year, in November 2008, it decided to disband use of its channels, particularly Facebook and Instagram. It continues to use Twitter on a very limited basis, but for customer support questions. But at Streeter, what we think is just because you delete it doesn't mean that it didn't happen. Hashtag Juul continues to live on. I looked at the hashtag yesterday, and it has more than 486,000 posts to the hashtag. Although Juul no longer posts to the hashtag, it has become viral in peer-to-peer communication. A lot of teens are using it to post images. A lot of brands, some of which have nothing to do with Juul, are using it because they know it's a popular hashtag and will gain attention. These are some of the images that you see when you look at hashtag Juul. And you can see that many of these are patently youth-oriented. You have really young-looking teenagers in these images. You have references to the bathroom as a Juul room. You have memes. You have images of pets. And you also have inappropriate use of the Juul with this boy trying to hit multiple Juuls at the same time. And other popular theme that we found was the use of the Juul hand symbol. Now, early on in its first 6 months, in order to drum up positive support for the brand, Juul used influencers and affiliates. This is a job listing for its affiliate program. This was on listservs and job boards across the nation. This was first put up in 2015, but as you can see, it was up on their website as of December 2018. We worked with CNN in uncovering some of Juul's social media influencers, and one such influencer is Christina Zers, who says that she was picked because Juul liked her edgy style and because she appealed to the youth market. I'm going to just show a small clip. Sorry, can we get the volume, please? Nope. Okay, sorry. So what she did say in that was that at least 15% of her audience are between the ages of 13 to 15. So she had a patently youth-oriented market. This is something that Juul was aware of, and they hired her to be their social media ambassador. They also had an affiliate program, and this isn't unique to most companies. Many of their positive reviews were from the affiliate program. These affiliates were given a specific URL or a unique URL that they embedded throughout their review. And purchases made by clicking that specific URL netted the affiliate a kickback. And that was up to 20% of total purchase. The program again came to an end in 2018, and this was part of Juul's, again, defensive mechanism. One of the reasons that we believe that Juul is successful is because of the design of the device itself. Juul is an extremely stealthy-looking device that is easy to hide. And we define a stealth device as one which, when placed on a teenager's table, will not be recognized by a parent as a vaping device. And I'm not sure how many of you can actually see that there was a Juul on that person's table. Juul's success has led to a number of imitators. There are a number of Juul-alike devices that are now available on the market. And there are also a growing number of non-Juul-like products, but again, products that are stealthful and easy to hide. These are compact products. Another reason for Juul's success has been its use of patented nicotine salts. It was one of the first electronic cigarettes to use patented nicotine salts. And what this does is that it allows the blood nicotine level to be very similar to a cigarette. And you can see a very similar spike between the combustible cigarette, which is the purple line, and Juul, which is the orange line. We now know that each Juul pod is equivalent to a pack of cigarettes, but it is a much more efficient delivery system. And what is concerning is that a study done by Truth Initiative early last year found that the majority of youth were not aware that Juul contained nicotine. Now, Juul's success has also led to an increase in nicotine level products in the marketplace. Prior to the entry of Juul, we found that most electronic products had nicotine liquids in the 1 to 2% range. The 3% was advertised for a heavy smoker, for a 2-pack-a-day smoker. But since Juul's success, there are a number of Juul-alike products. These are close to about 15 pod devices, that many of which are compatible with the Juul device themselves. I've just chosen mango flavor because we know that mango was a very popular flavor for Juul, and we find that a lot of companies are manufacturing Juul. It's become a staple, much like vanilla these days. Many of these manufacturers are trying to undersell Juul. They're much cheaper. Juul's pod price throughout most of the United States is $4. In California alone, it is $5. But many of these products undersell Juul by $1, $1.50. There are also a number of larger e-liquid vendors that have 30 ml bottles of e-liquid salts. They are very cheap. So the average price of the 30 ml bottle is about $9.99, less than $10. And if you actually consider the nicotine cost per milligram of milliliter of nicotine, it's less than a cent. So you can see that there's actually a reducing cost of nicotine. Why is high nicotine a concern? Because you see that it is extremely poisonous. We've all come across these articles about how a baby died because, they unintentionally consume nicotine. Some states require child-proof caps, but it is not across the board in the United States. And at these high doses, it is quite lethal. So the 30 ml bottle can actually take out an entire preschool class of about 20 kids. In December 2018, Juul entered a partnership with Altria, and this flew in the face of everything that Juul had said till that point of time, where it constantly posted on its social media channels and news reports that fact that it was not big tobacco, but this independent company that was on a mission to eliminate cigarettes. Altria bought into Juul with a partnership of 35%, increasing the company's valuation with $38 billion. What this merger did was it brought together the leading youth cigarette initiation brand with the leading youth e-cigarette initiation brand. We find that Juul was always enamored and emulated Marlboro. If you look at Juul's original pod design, you'll see that the chevron is really reminiscent to that of Marlboro. Marlboro comes in packs of different colors, and quite unsurprisingly, Juul has special limited edition pods of very similar flavor of colors. I'm going to skip the next slide, but this was just to show that they use similar music and similar designs in their advertising. Juul's current advertising campaign is now quite different from what it started out. Again, this is a defensive mechanism that Juul has taken. Its current advertising campaign uses testimonials of smokers. For those of you who are in the Bay Area, you may have seen it in SF Chronicle. There are also television ads. So what are the policy implications that need to be considered? One is for the FDA how to inhibit use of Juul by teens, but at the same time facilitating its use among adult smokers. And some of the options that we have available, including having nicotine only in unsweetened tobacco flavor. High nicotine can be by prescription only. Limiting the nicotine concentration to 2% is being done in the UK or in Europe, or banning online sales. And this is something that we can continue to debate later on this morning. This is an image of our street interns and all the people who have helped us with the project and my contact information. So thank you so much for this opportunity.